Terry here to present for us on how to work with
wet felting, wool, merino wool, the fancy stuff. And I have some kid locks also, and sorry.
Awesome. Oh, you're great. Yeah, this is wonderful.
So,
I saw everybody already get really excited. She has some pieces so you can see what a finished product looks like. We're not going to have enough time for that today, but you're going to give us
I am going to finish a product.
Okay.
So I'm going to, yes I am. I'm going to do, this is the way I did my very first piece, my tiny little piece I still have in my refrigerator, a little strange flower, and it just taught me that I could go a little deeper, a little thicker with the pieces. When you're doing, what we're going to do today is a snowman on blue. And then I think I'll incorporate like a weird red sun with some black pulled through it. I have a little silk that I think I'm going to kind of wisp around and see if we can trap it. It won't grab like the wool. The wool grabs. Wool grabs wool. Here's a great example. This stringy stuff is wool, on wool. And the agitating is what we do. Here's a tool I use for the big ones, for this, because it's really hard to do a 3-hour piece like this with just your fingers. So there's this cute little tiki tool with these little grooves in it. Works great. Okay, enough of show and tell. So we're gonna start with this. This is a great way to do it. This, we'll fill it halfway and fold it over, and we do the agitating through here. I'm gonna get started. So we're gonna start with the first layer and prepping it. Of course, I didn't prep it because I thought you'd like to see a little action with the prep. So we're just gonna pull a little apart, getting it ready. That's enough. I think I'm just gonna go with all of these together. So it comes from New Zealand. Yep, I did a lot of Etsy ordering during the Rona with all the free Trump and Biden money. I spent it. So no rings. Dry and scaly fingers like mine can be a problem. They could hang on. No wind. We need no wind. Don't blow on it. Don't sneeze on it. So we're just going to start. All of it goes in the same direction. Laying it the same direction. It's kind of staticky on this plastic. So we just keep laying it. We're going to do a whole layer like that.
Has it been dyed before you start using it?
It has been, yep.
Thank you.
So we'll do this layer this way. The next layer will go the opposite way, and we'll just keep with that same routine. This is going to be a pain.
Is that bubble wrap?
It is bubble wrap. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for helping me out. I appreciate that. I haven't done a demo in a long time, so yeah, bubble wrap is the first way I did it. And I'm using bubble wrap tonight because it's going to be faster and easier than pulling out the other mesh and switching it out. This is just easier, folding it over. With the larger pieces, I use a pool noodle to roll. So you would roll your mess up into the pool noodle for the rolling. And you'll see what I mean by the rolling. The rolling's really an important finishing, I guess, almost. And then it goes to hot water to shrink it up a little bit and grab it a little more. So it is fun. So I've got my little, I had a water bottle at home empty, and I said, I'm not going to go to the dollar store and buy a bucket. I'm just going to use this tonight. Because I just didn't want to stop at another place. I wanted to just come straight here with the weather being so funky out.
Yeah. Can you use other kinds of wool?
Yeah, actually, in the corner you see the patchwork piece vest. That has, I cheated with that one. I used the core as a core wool. It's not a pristine wool like this and clean and dyed. It's just white. It's rougher. So I used that for the center layer. I put the color down, and then I filled with the cheaper stuff to make it a little thicker and sturdier, and then put the pretty over the top again, just to make it thicker, sturdier, without being as pricey. But it's funny, because if you weighed that, geez, I mean, wool's like 30 bucks a pound. You get a big, it's bigger than this, double this. These gorgeous, big, lumpy, braided, oh, they're wonderful. So pretty.
Is that what you do?
It's fun.
Where does your wool come from?
New Zealand.
Okay.
But I bought from Etsy. Sorry, I didn't finish my, thank you. My focus is always off, so. Etsy, and just spent so much money, it was ridiculous. Free money. Well, it's not free, we paid for that money. So now I'm gonna go the opposite direction. We overlap every time.
So you're going perpendicular to your first.
If you wanna call it perpendicular, thank you. So up and down and side to side. Sorry, girls, I'm a simple child. But I love art, and I love this. This is a blast. So.
Such a rich color.
It is, this blue is, I said, why not? I was almost, what is that? That's contaminant mixed up.
It's purple in some light and blue in others.
It's a great blue, it really is. I'm not gonna split this, I'm just gonna give it a fluff.
So that's sheep wool then? It is.
Sheep, you know the answers too, don't ya? She just took a
I've
class.
done it once, just a couple weeks ago, and it was absolutely
If you
amazing.
can see, I'm just gonna squeeze and pull.
Is it better quality from New Zealand or is it?
I think that this is, New Zealand is a little more kinder to the animal. I believe I was reading that in a lot of the sources, how they harvest it. They are not just ripping it off of these poor little babies' bodies, and yeah. I know one sustainable thing, the animals pass naturally, and that's when they harvest the wool. They don't torture them. It was quite interesting. I was like,
Shave them?
Oh, yeah, they do shave. They still, and they're, but the techniques for shaving sheep are about they haven't changed it through the years.
and again, the same as the first layer, up and down again, overlaying. We'll do this one more time, I think, and give it 4 layers. So the edges are going to be a little rough. We're kind of going through this quickly. That one's going to give me a problem. I'm not going to do that. It tried to grab and move. It's like once it's down, yeah, unless it's an important piece. We're moving quickly tonight. It's not an important piece, but it is an important piece.
So how many layers do you actually?
We're going to do 4. We're going to put one more down, and then we're going to do the snowman. It's going to be so cute. I pre-made some little decorative balls, these little, I'll scatter them around a little bit, some red and pink balls.
How long have you been doing this?
I haven't done any felting in about a year, so I'm shaking right now.
When did you start? I mean,
Right around when the Rona came and all the free money, and I was bored, and I just went on Etsy and I saw, all these things are coming on Facebook. Oh, the wet felting, the rug tufting, it's maddening, and I love this stuff. So I had quit my job, my gardening job this year, and I just went full bore. I have a booth downtown at 608 Vintage on Main Street, 34 South Main Street. There's about 100 vendors in there. There's a lot of vintage, yes, a lot of antiques. There's even more artists inside that place. I'm not kidding, and they're just, it's awesome.
But only one felt artist.
You're right. There's somebody selling some wool, but she's selling it way too pricey. I won't buy that. I'm like, oh, that's core wool. That isn't even the good stuff. I'll pass.
Not from sheep.
And one more layer on the top, running the same as the bottom. So if you can imagine, once we start rubbing this and agitating it, it's like a dog getting mats, like a dog with long hair getting mats under its little arm. It's just from rubbing all the time. It's the same thing.
How many layers
We're gonna go 4 on this.
did you do for like a scarf?
I believe 4 I did on those 2.
And the vests?
I believe it was 4, possibly 5, because they're a little thicker. You can, when you feel the scarves, and you can feel the vest, the patchwork vest, that one definitely is really thick. You can feel that. But I had another scarf, but I wore it, and it was one of my first scarves I made, and it was a cobweb. That's what they called it, because there was holes all around in it. I didn't use enough. So I liked when I saw that. I'm like, oh, good, it's a cobweb. All right, we almost got this. Okay. snowman.
What would happen
Would you
if,
mind if you lose your water bottle if you're there?
Oh, absolutely, I can do that, no problem.
so what would it work if you agitated the base, the blue base, and then did the snowman? Would it work?
Nope, it's all at once because we're going to wet it before we agitate. A little drop of dish soap in there. They want you to use the olive oil. This is one of my homemade soaps. Weird one. I milled this one twice just so I could use it right away. But they want you to use olive oil, and you would just kind of, you keep dunking your hands, and you would agitate with your hands over a mesh. The mesh would let the water pass through. This is just a little easier for me today, and I don't know what I just did, but now I have soap in my thing. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, we might just let that wash out. It will wash out, actually, so I'm not going to sweat that. Here, I'm going to make a little weird moon, since this is already shaped. I'm going to make a blood moon and just set that right there. So we're going to try to shape these up. Little snowman action. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, you're too big. We're gonna go like, get rid of some of that.
So I've seen the some of the wool felting that looks like almost like a painting. Are they using the same technique where
Yep.
they're waiting, putting all their designs down and waiting until they have that and then getting it wet? Because some
Yes.
of that's very detailed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They're good.
Yeah.
Maybe they're wetting it down a little bit to hold it down, but I haven't seen that one done. But I do see that artwork out there. It's gorgeous.
I didn't know one could do that. Because I really didn't look into it until I was looking for some pictures to promote it coming. And then I'm like, ooh, these are kind of cool. These like painting looking ones and everything.
Yeah, because once your hands get wet, it's a real problem. It just starts to move and stick to you. Let's try to do a little top hat. Let's see if I can get this kind of a top hat. Might look like a witch's hat.
Just mixing holidays.
Yeah. Just a gnome.
I love gnomes. I cast gnomes from my latex molds that pays the rent at the booth. I don't know what it is, the molds. My rugs don't sell so much. And I call them rugs, but they're too nice to actually walk on. I made a Jesus rug. There'll be no walking on Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say you hang him either. It's like throw him on a chair, perhaps, would be nice.
So you make molds for?
Statues, concrete statues.
Oh, okay.
Fun. Skulls are very popular. Mermaids are very popular. I have a 2-foot mermaid mold that is a $500 mold.
Do you make the mold or the actual?
I pour the concrete in the molds. I'm only as good as the.
that.
Yeah, I buy the
I was
molds.
gonna say, you're just selling your talent then, giving everybody your.
Yeah, and I do see a lot of copies between these mold makers. I'm like, interesting that they're not all the same. The best mold maker, Texas Tradition Mold Making Company. Don't know what part of Texas they're in, but they're the best. I will never go back to anybody else. They all pale in her comparison. I'm just like, they've been there 30 years. They have first and second shift making molds. I'm like, oh, you're serious business. It's a mom and pop, but not. They're employing a lot of people, first and second shift. So I'm putting a little black in the moon just to give it some little definition. Let's see how it turns out. All right. So I pre-made these little balls, these cute little festive little tiny balls. Let's see what I can get. All right, we'll just drop them. They're just gonna go wherever. Not there though. Too close to my snowman, but now he's there. I'm not gonna try to pick it off. We'll just put these around, give it a little interest instead of just straight. Where are we on time? Am I doing good?
Don't rush, this is so interesting.
I love you guys. Okay, so. Texas Tradition Mold Company. Texas Tradition Mold Company, yeah. I'm trying to make a little carrot. I need to go much smaller. That's way too much stuff.
Now for your mold, could you like Dremel them or something to add more details?
Oh, I've mosaicked some of my molds way back in the day when I had just a couple of molds and I got bored and yeah, I bought $1,000 on molds and only got like 3
Do you
this
live in
year.
Milton?
No.
Okay, because there's some place on my way to Milton or from Milton that has like the cement mold sitting out front.
Oh.
Like I always wanted to stop and look, but I didn't want to be like, I mean, they're sitting out by the road for people to look at.
Okay, we're making the little eye. We're just gonna do one eye. It's kind of weird. You know what? I'm gonna take a chance and do something else. Let's try this. All right, where'd that little nose go? And back with the nose, a little smaller still. It's gonna be a big nose. And the buttons down the front, and then we're gonna wet it, because that is good enough for the demo, and we'll start building this fabric. So it's wonderful to know that you can make fabric from this. This piece, when we're done, you could sew it on a blue jean jacket back. You can make it into a pillow. If you're a good seamstress, put a back on it, slide a pillow in it, or just stuff it and seal it. I'm not a seamstress, but I really want to learn to do that.
How would you clean it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Cold water, because it'll keep shrinking. Yeah, cold water and a wool detergent. Can I say woolite?
We were all thinking it.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see this from there, y'all, but the snowman is built. You're welcome to take a quick look if you'd like. It's a quick, simple one. So this is the water with just a little dish soap in it because lack of time to mess around with this. This is a wonderful tool for when you're making the big pieces. It injects right into.
I want one of those.
I love this thing. This was Etsy, one of the Etsy buys. They're so wonderful. They send you little handwritten notes and thank you. And then, of course, when everybody spent their money, we all stopped buying stuff. And they keep sending you messages. Hey, you remember me? Like, yeah, I do. Okay, so let me just try this real quick.
Heidi does.
Just trying to push it in. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's do this.
You need more water?
I could use just a little bit and this little soap. Actually, I've got water here. I'm sorry. He's spaced out. This is just going to help me slide around. Thank you. Just to get this started. So.
What is the reason for the salt, just to make it slippery?
Slippery. Yeah, and we would use it even on the mesh, which is a different kind of a fabric to use. As I'm using this bubble wrap, you would use a mesh instead. So the edges are hanging out. That's going to be trimmed because it's not going to work. And it's exact. Let's try this real quick. Nope. Exactly. All the same.
You're causing the fibers to mat.
Looks like a doggy that's got long hair, and my doggy's got some pit problems right now. She got mats. That's why I'm like, it's just like wool, Josie. So then the other direction, exactly the same. And we're gonna do this about 10 minutes, so you know. And the other direction, again.
Which one you have, the silver came into being? Who discovered it?
600 BC in wherever they buried them back then. Caves, crypts, yeah. Fabric that, yeah, they found it. Before Christ, is that crazy? Oh, I moved a little button, but that is too bad.
They probably didn't use bubble wrap though.
Give you a nose job, did you?
They belted hats for centuries, haven't they?
Yeah.
Push. It's,
And then the headers were men.
As long as
There was a chemical that they used, mercury, that caused.
Oh, I wore one. I was like, wow, it kept me warm. I'm so glad I wore that one today. I was like, I just don't like the winter. It's too dang cold out. So we'll do a pinch test in a second to see where it's at. And then we'll roll, and then we'll see again. Let's just take a quick look. Nope. That was my pinch test. Looking for the mat instead of a separation. Instead of this, we want it. So you kind of check it every now and then. Yep, I'm gonna sit. You get a better angle.
So once you cut the edges or trim it,
Yeah.
does it like need?
You can plunge it. You can plunge it into hot water and then just kind of roll it around on itself. Not a lot, so you don't want it to remat again. But like this would be great in a picture frame. You can get like a little 6x7, about that big, lay the glass down, trim that, put it in there. You wouldn't have to worry about matting it anymore because it's safe behind the glass. Sometimes I gotta go one direction with the edge so I don't lift it up.
What types of things have you made?
Oh, all the things you see behind, and I'm also needle felting. I needle felted a skunk and some ghouls for Halloween, but they didn't get purchased. Oops, I'm dripping. Let's go like that. Sorry about that.
It's soap and water.
It's not gonna kill it.
Yeah, although it is probably won't.
I just love the fact that you can make material from this loose fiber. It's weird.
No, it's like a brown snowman would actually be
Yes.
three-dimensional.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it's so cool.
When I grew up in needle felt our dog.
There's some artists out there that are crazy good.
Well, she does it just for fun, you know, but she, and I was watching her, what she use some kind of a form, or does she just make balls and then just?
Right, right. I just make balls. I'm not sure how the really good artist. Oh, that's great. That looks good. All right, so let's just show you girls. And Guy. Frank's around here somewhere, right? Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna roll it. That's gonna help a lot more. It's starting to grab. You see, it's grabbing. Yeah. It's done grabbed. Oop, that one ain't grabbed, but that's an edgy one. But we'll move you in a little bit. Let's go in here a little bit. So, all right, I'm gonna roll now.
So soft.
I think it's kind of fun though that you can make the picture and it turns out just a little bit different than what you.
Right, yeah.
So it's just sort of like a surprise. Where is that nose going here?
Just to help me not lose it, we'll tie it down. So we do quarter turns, about 25 of these, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Quarter turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20. Quarter turn.
This is what your washing machine does to your sweaters, right?
So you can see when the pool, I should have brought the pool noodle, it would have helped, or my rolling pin is another one that I would use on a small piece like this.
And you're not pressing down real hard either, are you?
I'm not, because I would, but it's not gonna let me. We'll see what we get. It's already matting, so I'll scratch it up a little bit more and then we'll plunge it into some hot water, and that grabs it too. The hot water.
How did you get into this?
My damn phone. Watching people on Facebook perform. I mean, it was overload during the Rona. It was like, we're home, what are we doing? My poor husband even had to be home. I mean, I like it, but he was going crazy. Chocolate! Poor baby, he got a little beefy on me. I'm usually the big girl in the house, and he's Mr. Skinny. Fabric. Fabric. Fabric from fiber. Let's give him a little more action. Just a little more. This is just a demo, but you can see we did that really fast. I mean, that's fast to me. I'm like, those scarves took me 3 hours.
Now with the vest, did you have to do it in pieces or?
Isn't that crazy?
What did you see when you unrolled it that makes you go back and do this?
Just a little more. Everything looked pretty good. The little pink balls are going to fall away. Some of them are not going to attach, but I just wanted to go a little more.
How long does it take to dry?
They dry pretty quick. You could take an iron to them, and that also shrinks them up a bit. For the hats, I was using the iron to get little creases, and then I needle punch through some of the fabrics to make the bill, like the devil horns, the plaid devil horns. I actually, after I folded and ironed that to steam it in place, took my needle punch and just needle punched. And now it's kind of, you could see, the fabric is pushed into each other. Support. I love that hat. Okay, so let's do a rinse.
So the water has to be hot.
This is a cold rinse, just to get some of this soap out. I really, hey,
What do you need?
helper, you do me a favor? Dump that for me, please, and just give maybe a quick rinse, please. All right, yep, we're losing a couple of the balls, but that's because they were probably close to the edge. That's so dang cute, come on. Is that adorable? I'm not quite finished. We're gonna give it the hot water rinse, but how cute! I'm a genie. I love it. I'm so glad I went with the snowman. Oh, she's gonna get that for me. Thanks, Jen. Yeah. It's so crazy. It is simpleton right now, and the balls did move. If I had the other stuff, it would probably work a little bit better, but for sake of time, let's give it a hot water.
You just throw it in there.
Oops.
What does the hot water do?
And Matt's even better. Yep, shrinkage. Shrinkage!
You ever have a sweater that your husband put in the
never
washer and
ruined
dryer?
your shirt on you?
One time you threw all my dry cleaning in the washer. Yes, yes. Husbands are
So there is not, let's just do this. This over here. So we beat it. Do you remember this part?
Yes.
It just mats it some more. And they want you to do a little
Now look at the size.
rolling on its own.
Now I know how fresh it is.
And it shrinks fast. It does shrink. It shrink again. Let's give it a little more and see how tiny we can get it real quick here.
So, someone told me
really hard to do, like, if you have a wool sweater that you can shrink, that you can put in like the tub with a bunch of like, air conditioner.
And stretch it back out. You can wet mine down, those, and we can stretch them a bit.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. Or you could just put it on a doll. Yeah, we've lost a couple of little dots, but like I said, we did a rush through this. It is shrinking up a bit. And then I would iron it, trim it, and put it in a little frame. And that is it. It's kind of silly, but I mean, I love the moon. I really love the blood moon. So we lost a little bit of the dots here. You can see it doesn't want to grab, but it's just, I didn't get it set perfectly, but it's a great example. And then if you'd like to just take a look, I have a shop downtown in Janesville, Wisconsin, 34 South Main Street. The shop is 608 Vintage. It's owned by other people, but we vendors put our art and our wares inside of it that we sell. And it's actually been quite a wonderful year for me there. So we appreciate if y'all have time, stop down there. There's so much stuff. They have 100 vendors, 15,000 square feet, 3 levels. It's a beautiful shop. So if you'd like to pass her around and give it a feel, you're more than welcome. These are, I love this. It's wool. These are kid locks. So these are from the baby. These are kid locks. They're so wonderful. I mean, it gives such great character to your pieces. I love this stuff. Babies. It just looks so weird. I love this one. And I think I went plain on the other side, so it's reversible to, you just have nothing if you'd like.
That's beautiful. I didn't realize that.
I have a couple of them reversible, yeah. And with this, oh, this is silk, I forgot. I put silk in this one. The red and the white are silk, and what we did was trap it with the wool, because actually it's, oh yeah, it's trapped. It wants to come away. But if you're hand washing in cold, no problem. I love that. It shimmers a bit too. This is this stuff right here. Wool. And wool will mat and grab to wool.
Very nice.